This is going to be the biggest Bug Realms update you have ever seen on this channel. So pause this video, pop the kettle on, make yourself a brew, put your feet up and enjoy. Hello and welcome back to Bug Realms. On this channel we like to discuss all things creepy crawly, so if that's something that interests you, please consider subscribing to the channel. Now just to let you guys know, the whole purpose of this video is to inform you of everything that I possibly can think of to do with past, present and future projects and what's going on with the animals and pretty much everything, as I said, I can think of happening here in the realm. And the reason for doing that is because it's come to my light that there's been a little bit of confusion over time from my subscribers, especially to do with things like positioning of shelves and so on being moved around. Things may have looked different in certain videos than they did in other ones, and I never actually informed you of why. So this whole purpose is to let everything out in the air, out in the open, and let you guys know exactly what's going on. So we will be discussing past, present and future projects. We'll be discussing the realm itself, and we will be looking at animals, guys. This isn't just going to be a purely talking video, but it is going to be a long one. Now I understand that these types of videos aren't for everybody, but if you are a hardcore fan of Bug Realms here, if you do really want to know what's going on, then please watch this video all the way through so you can have a full understanding. So one major thing that I'm going to bring up first is going to be to do with past promises or deals or ideas and whether they've come to light or not and the reasons why. So it's all going to go back to my 3K special, if anybody remembers that. Now at the same time I hit my 3K subscribers was when I moved into this property, and we made a deal to do with polls of certain aspects of what you would like. So one of them was naming this area, and the poll choice by majority vote was the realm. And I have stuck to that. This is in fact the realm and always will remain to be the realm, and I think even if I ever moved property, our filming studio and animal room will always be called the realm. Now I also made a promise with you about a certain shelf, for example, being full of photographs of my in-person collaboration projects. Now I'm over 4,000 subs now and I still haven't shown you that shelf. Why? Because it's empty. I haven't actually been able to do any in-person collaboration projects since I hit that 3K, and that is the only reason. But I do intend, after lockdown, depending on how restrictions are and work and things like that, I do intend on going back to see Gar from Arachnotube. So there will be collaborations with him. Now I've had minor talks with others as well, such as Dave from House of Bugs to do a collaboration project in person with him. Very minor talks about doing one with Scarlet the Black Widow too. And I would like to go back and see Mark's Tarantulas again. He said I'm always welcome providing he's off work. So if you're watching this, Mark, I would love to come and see you again when I am able. Now there are a lot of YouTubers you guys have mentioned that you'd love me to collaborate with, but I don't drive, and unfortunately a lot of them live Midlands or up north, and it would cost me quite literally hundreds of pounds just on the train fare, let alone accommodation. I'd have to haul all my equipment all that distance as well, and it's just impractical. However, if you are a YouTuber that wants to collaborate with me, you are always welcome in my home. Obviously after lockdown, you're always welcome in my home. Comment me below if you want to come down and collab with me, or send me a private message if you want to keep it secret, and we will discuss that, because there's a wide audience out here that do follow a lot of the Tarantula YouTube community, and I would love to have some come and visit me. And if accommodation's your problem, you're welcome to stay here in the realm and I'll sleep on the sofa for a night. It's not a problem. Now another thing, and this is the major thing that I agreed with, was to have animals, trust my phone to go off now, have animals in my background. And the poll choice was to, just by a smidgen, have the stick insects behind me, and I haven't fully stuck to that. And here's the reason why. So I jumped the gun a bit when I moved here. I hadn't had time to test the waters of this room. And certain walls I had shelves on originally were too cold in winter for certain animals. I didn't take into account I've got a big bay window, as you can see behind these stick insects here. That's got with the curtains closed, it's still giving off that light. And I didn't take into account certain lightings. Now certain species do require a better lighting. Certain stick insects do require some form of sunlight or not direct sunlight, but natural light coming in and having day and night cycles, and without that they do struggle to thrive, basically. So I didn't take all those things into consideration when I first moved into this room, sorry, and I do apologise. This is how I'm going to have it, at least for now. So we have tarantulas here, we have a couple of stick insects here, and the rest are actually, well, I'll show you in a minute, in different locations. So I've mixed it up a bit, and I hope you're happy with that and understand the explanation of why that was to be. Now, other past things, we have talked about Fatal Fangs 2 on and off. I've done that more privately than I have openly on this channel. It's been a nightmare. So Fatal Fangs 2 will be coming out, and it will be 32 contestants instead of 64. Each round will be in one singular video. So that first video will be 32 clips. It's going to be a long one. We are still keeping the same judges as agreed, but I can't tell you who's in and who's out because I'm not naming any names and there's no one in particular I'm targeting here. But I've been talking about people getting clips together since November. And so far, I think 12 out of those 32 actually had clips ready for me now, and it's not far off being May. So I don't know who's in or out, but I've given these folks a deadline. If they don't meet their deadline, I'm doing a free-for-all, first-come, first-served basis to get me clips. When I have everything I need of the people, I will then announce to you viewers out there when Fatal Fangs 2 will take place, who's going to be in the lineup of Fatal Fangs 2, and it is going to happen. Now, I will inform you of one person who's definitely going to be in, because I think you'd be excited to see, would be Mark from Mark's Tarantulas, because he had some whopping clips last year and came in second place. And Mark has already provided his clips, so if you enjoyed his footage, then he's definitely back in this competition. So thank you, Mark, as well as the other people, but we'll come down to them nearer the time. Another project I have brought up and not brought to light is the Hall of Fame board. I have done a video on that, so please check that one out if you don't know what it is, but it's a lot more of an engagement with you as an audience. So there will be categories on the Hall of Fame board where you can get your name or channel name if you're a YouTuber up on that board that changes monthly. Hall of Fame board is still happening and it's actually being made now. So I'm not going to give you any pictures of how it's developing at the moment, but it's really cool, it's handmade, it's being done by Kelly from Crusty Creations, who has a really good knack for art. So she is working all hand done on that board slowly over time. But obviously with this lockdown it's hard to get certain materials, but Hall of Fame board is still coming, so don't panic. But don't worry, this isn't all going to be me talking here, I will be getting up soon, but just for the moment we're talking about things I've mentioned before. So another thing was Phasmid files. Some people have asked me when's the next Phasmid files, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, I might have to change that and just make them not a Phasmid files category and just have the stick insects being shown on a normal style thumbnail, normal style video. And the reason being is they've got the lowest views out of everything. Now you might think that's because it's stick insect based, but it isn't because it's stick insect based. So I've got some stick insect videos out there that have got 1,000 more views than a tarantula video, for example. I've got stick insect videos that did nothing at the start and then boomed later on. And I think the reason is because I called it Phasmid files. Now a lot of people know stick insects to be called phasmids, so if they're there for an educational video and they're looking it up and they type in stick insect, it might come up as a tag, but it's unlikely they're going to click on it seeing the word phasmid. You know what I mean? It was a poor choice really for me, but at the same time I wanted it to be the correct word. So it's all up in air at the moment about that. There will be more stick insect videos, there will be educational stick insect videos. Whether I keep to calling them Phasmid files or not, I don't know. I might even just put Phasmid files in the thumbnail, but not in the title, so that when people are searching through, reading titles of videos, they're not going to see that written there and cause them confusion if they're uneducated in the correct wording. Another project I've promised to update you on for ages is Coffee Table Enclosure 2.0, the home to our Egyptian predatory beetles. Just to give you a quick update, 2 of them did die, 1 got attacked and eaten by the rest, which does happen. The other I don't know the explanation for. So there's still 3 beetles in there, and there is something else living in there too, and it has been for quite some time, and it's been a successful, in my opinion, cohabitation between 2 different species. The reason I haven't updated you on that is because I want more of said different species in there. Some of you kind of already know what it is, before I did a video on it, and I haven't got the money and they don't have them in stock of the things I want to be adding in there. So that's the reason that hasn't been updated for you. So the only other thing I can think of about the fact that I haven't updated you on properly is the native UK bug enclosure, which obviously took about a year for me to actually do. I do apologise for that. And that's because of this lockdown, basically. I don't really want to be going out searching for bugs and things while there's a deadly virus on the loose. But if I do ever come across something when I'm collecting my bramble, I'll try and pot it up and we can talk about adding it in. But that will come, especially with spring on its way, or spring is here in fact, and summer is on its way. Hopefully when lockdown's over, I can get out there and find some awesome animals to put into that enclosure so I can update you on that. So I think that's everything to do with past mentions of things and why they may not have come to light in the correct way. But if there is something else, please comment me below so I can update you on that in a future video. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the realm itself. So I have got this realm now to about 80% happiness level, as it were. Can't think of the right words. You ever done that? You just say something stupid? I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to get the camera in a minute and show you around the realm. Now, the layout is pretty much how I want it, and there's just going to be a few changes to be made. So you should always have this sort of shot, at least this corner if nothing else, depending on position of my camera. Occasionally I might face it this way, but it's always going to be the animals in the background, at least at the moment. May slightly change when the Hall of Fame board comes into play, not sure yet. But I've got my shelves where I want them, and there have been some minor changes to the realm too. So let's have a look at those. So here behind my shirts is the door to the realm. So if we spin it round here, can you see any differences already? I'm sure that you can. So here is my bed. Yes, this is also my bedroom for anyone confused, which is why I also needed practicality in this room and couldn't always keep to shelving in certain places as well. That's my TV, unimportant, and PlayStation, very important. If we move down this way, you see these shelves used to be a wooden effect, they are now grey. Oh look, it's the mirror. Yo. Right, and this is now half a feeder shelf. There will be the collaboration shelf on here probably, and it's then going to move on to slings and small animals. This is just to do with other projects. Now this table with my TV on is now also grey. If we move on to here, my curtains are no longer purple, and they are in fact grey, although you can't see very well in this lighting. So I'm going to open these up, and here is the bay window. Now this used to have the coffee table enclosure in front of it, but that's now moved under our Phrygonistra enclosure, because although the predatory beetles like the sun, there was a bit too much. This is going to be a future project as well. So now that we have some light in here, we're going to move around this way. So we have certain stick insect species in here. I'll update you on some of these things shortly. Something else I did with the shelves, you may have noticed I had large gaps before. Now I don't mean empty space, I mean gaps between like here downwards. It was a nightmare, my OCD was killing me over it. So I bought another rack just for the shelves. So as you can see here, they're almost flush to the tops. Maybe not so much this one, but you see here tarantula room enclosures, smaller ones, more tarantula room enclosures, small arboreal ones, and stick insect eggs in here. Now if we move to this shelf, small arboreals, these are almost flush going across, especially these three. This one's a little bit off, but it's not too bad. At the minute we've got different slings. This shelf is going to change, and some spare tanks down there. And this one is now going to be the one with rounded enclosures, which was behind me in a previous video. So we've got Nicoletta's enclosure, my phone. We've got tarantula room enclosures here, so this will fill across. That is annoying me. Who is messaging me? Sorry about that. And here are my custom made enclosures made by myself, housing stick insects. Then we have a small arboreal shelf, and then we're going to get another enclosure like this one to go here for something else inside it. Now moving along, that's my ensuite bathroom. Here is the stand where I've been filming and sitting, and this will change. So at the minute, that's a box of substrate, that's a box of anything, and that's a box of wood. That will change. We're also looking to get a rug going down here, a grey rug, which will be cool, and I'm going to change this. I'm going to get some sort of light shade. Not that that really matters to you, but I'm just informing you of everything. So spinning around here, this surface is now grey, the filming surface. I'm not sure if that's a good or bad move yet. So when I do a next rehouse video or something like that, it will be done on here and we will see if the grey contrast was better than the black or not. But the reason I've done it is because I like the fact that there's black enclosures on grey surface and below is black rimmed enclosures. So these are my largest stick insect enclosures that used to be over this way, and they are now here making table legs basically, and the reason being is they took up so much shelf space it seemed wasted. So if you imagine, those three wouldn't even fit on one line here. In fact, two wouldn't if you counted the big one. So I've now moved them over here so there's more space. Now these empty enclosures, you would have seen animals in them before. Nothing has died out of these enclosures, they've simply been moved, so don't panic there. Coffee table enclosure 2.0 down here, and Frigornistra enclosure here. Fatal Fangs shirt right over there. Pretty cool, right? Top shelf's going to have other things. At the minute I've got some stuff here. This was made by Gandalf. We've got some Portsmouth tarantula wristbands and a bug box cup there. An old mantis enclosure and that ugly thing, whatever. And this was my old colleagues from work. Look at this. This was in my older job. And there's Kelly. Look at her. Drinking that salad. Sorry, Kel, I've just exposed you to the world. Anyway, back to the stand and we'll talk about some more updates. Next quick update is going to be about merch. Now I haven't released a limited edition tee for a while, and that's because I don't think I sold a single one to do with the predatory beetles. I could be wrong, there might have been one person buy it, but I don't think there was. So that would be the Sons of Ra limited edition t-shirt. It's actually in the wash at the moment, so I can't show you it. I thought the limited edition tees would have been a cool idea for people to get hold of, but they haven't sparked as much interest in the normal Bug Rounds t-shirts. So whether I continue on with those or not, I'm unsure. I'll give it a go at least, but they cost me the same as they cost you guys for me to get in myself. They knock off, I think, maybe 10% actually, or the delivery charge or something for me to get it myself. But otherwise I'm paying the same as you guys, and I don't want to keep getting limited edition tees out, buying them myself and then having no interest in them whatsoever and it just being obsolete, because it would be nice to me to have worn a t-shirt to a show maybe that someone else is also wearing. And if it's a limited edition one that's then been cancelled off the site, there is no one else going to be able to do that. And I can't leave all limited edition ones available because I'm limited to the amount I put on unless I pay to have more t-shirts on. So there will still be Bug Rounds merch. If you haven't seen them, click on the description below and there is the T-Mill page. Click on that and have a look. So I'm unsure when it comes to the update regarding merchandise, but I will try and come up with some cooler ideas if I can. Now I do understand that things like the Sons of Ra, the Guilds of Assassins and things like that, they may not sell because I don't update you enough on them. But the Guild of Assassins has almost perished really. My Herida, there's just a couple left in there. I wasn't successful with babies. I think I may have left it too much of a dry period, that their little ooths all might have dried up. It was my mistake. The White Spot Assassins though are doing fantastic, but we'll get onto those animals in just a moment, getting ahead of myself here. But speaking of animals, I think that's probably what a lot of you have been waiting for, so I will get on to that now. But please comment me below if you've watched this far and there's an update that you particularly want. Not an animal update specifically, but on a project idea I may have mentioned before, on something to do with a realm. Ask me questions if you wish. I might even do another Q&A based purely around Bug Rounds, so people can know me and the studio better, past, present and future as I mentioned before. But we'll bring that up in another video. I'll see what the response is to this one before I decide to do a Q&A based solely on this channel. So yes, let's have a look at animals and talk about maybe some future video ideas and what's going on with these little critters. So in here is the T. Violicus Tapinocinius. This one has grown a bit and I'm pushing it back because I want to get this one out. There is a bit of mould down here, it needs sorting, but look at all this webbing. So this is my Tapinocinius polybotes, or polybotes, whatever you want to say. And if you look, there's a molt here. And there's actually a little molt here. So this one's molted twice before I've been able to get any out. So I'm thinking of doing a video soon, clearing out its home
redesigning it and putting it back in with no mould, fresh webbing to be laid. Now that might disturb it a little bit. It's actually just in here, you can't see very well, but I can never see this tea, and it is beautiful, and I would love to watch it re-web up a new home. So I think we're going to do that shortly. Let's bring this one back. So I got this one from Kelly from Crusty Creations, the Tea Violicus. I got that for my birthday last year, so this one is coming up to a year in my collection, which is pretty cool. Now moving on, Tapecinus cupreus, adult female, Tapecinus latipes, adult female. So if anyone's got mature males, I would like to purchase them off you if possible. Now Victoria also has a mould problem down here. It's not caused any issues, but I will sort that out at some point. It's not as dangerous as people think. I've had no deaths due to mould. Okay, now this one's not out at present. I'm not going to disturb it to show you because it is freshly molted and it's looking beautiful, but unfortunately this one is male. So if anyone has an adult female who wants an immature male, let me know. He's not mature, I don't even think he's sub-adult yet, but I don't want him to go to waste. So maybe a future project with this one, because I cannot afford a female myself. So I did get asked for a Vinegaroon update. He's actually just here. I don't have my lighting on, I'm afraid, but I'm sure you can make him out. Absolutely fine. Nothing to tell you about GBB. This here is my T. Kallenbergi. It's actually trying to be arboreal right now. Doesn't normally do that. Now, he is sub-adult male, and up here is mature female. So that will be my first proper breeding project here at Bug Realms. Just got to wait for him to mature. Actually got him as a tiny little sling near the start of this channel, so I'm quite proud of him. Now here's where things get a little bit more exciting. So, nothing to tell you about the funnel web or anything on this row, in fact. Now I don't think there's much to update you on this shelf either. As you can see here, this is a Scott's Inverts sticker, and in here was an NNC that Scott got me. It's doing absolutely fine. More excitement on this shelf though. In here, I'm sorry you can't see properly, in this water dish is a molt, and it is a molt of our T. Sturmy. Again, another one I've raised from a tiny sling. So what we need to do in a moment is get that molt out and sex this Sturmy. So I'm really, really excited to do that. We'll do that in just a minute. Down here, those two are the new Salmopius that we rehoused in a recent video, and my Armenia is there. And in here is the big girl, the T. Apophysis or Apophysis, however you like to say it. And again, you won't be able to see properly, but she is just sat there. We will have a proper clip of this one shortly. Unsexed this one, it hasn't molted since I bought it, but I really, really cannot wait to check this one. A little bit more excitement on this shelf as well, because in this one here, oh, didn't eat its mealworm after all. I'll take that out in a moment. But in here, we have what I called the realm spider, and it's the Crassicrus species Guerra. So these were the ones that were the first batch in the UK, and we'll have a look at this one in a moment too, because he did in fact molt a week or so ago, and I just want to show you the changes. There isn't much, mind. I don't think there's any more updates to give you guys. This is my big Mayo LP sat in the back there. Ghost Mantis is still live well in here. And last but not least, for an update, in here, my Nandu chromatus. Now, he looks hunched up and unhappy. This has been a mature male for a long time. I bought this one 3 BTSs ago. 3. Would have been the 4th BTS this May if it was still on. So he is old, really old, because he hooked out quite a long time ago. He was sub-adult male when I got him, I think, or maybe the stage before, and he's been an old grumpy spider since. Way too old for me to even breed now, but he won't die, and of course I'm happy for that, because I've had him for so long and I love him to pieces, but he just looks so damn miserable all the time.
Now the reason I didn't actually show you really good footage of all these animals is because I'm saving a lot of things for videos, as I can't really get anything in the collection right now. Although certain shops have opened, they don't have in stock what I'm after. So I want to save a lot of the good, crisp, clear animal footage for you guys in future videos. But we will take a look at that Sturmy molt and have a look at the Crusty species Guerra now. So I'm doing the Crusty first just because it's not that much to look at, but I really do want to show you. Now this one was docile as anything when I got it, and it was purely because it was in pre-molt all that time. Last time I lifted this bark, the spider did about 8 laps around here. Hopefully that won't happen this time, but I have a catch cup handy just in case. So if I lift this bit of bark, you can't see very well, but there's the spider. Still looks practically the same as it did before, but I wanted to update you on it because I told you I would show you it every time it molted, because this is a very special tarantula. So it's probably, oh, focus. So it's probably a little bit annoyed that I've disturbed its home. So I'm going to put that cork back on the top, and I'm going to remove that mealworm too. So here's the Sturmy enclosure. Now on here are some really good molts of stick insects. Now you see these little frazzly bits, these are what go into the book lungs, which is really cool, and you can see the opening here as well. Would anyone care to guess what species this was from? I'll inform you now, it's not a calcarata, nor is it a jungle nymph, if anyone was thinking one of those two. It is one we will show soon on an educational video on that species. We're not going to be able to get a good look at this tarantula because it's not come out of its hole since it molted, and I don't really want to disturb a freshly molted tarantula, even though it has been a little while. So just as simple as that. Here's the molt, let's check it. Everybody, fingers crossed right now that this is going to be a gal, because every molt has been too destroyed for me to check, minus one where it was way too small, and I'm not experienced enough to be able to tell from that particular molt. So here is the Sturmy's molt. Now I don't actually own a macro lens, so unfortunately you're probably not going to be able to see yourself, but we will try. Right, remember this image so you can remember the size of this Sturmy currently, and then when he comes out we can look. Oh no, it's breaking, don't break, don't break. Okay, the spot I need to look at isn't broken, so I'm actually going to do this off camera, have a look myself, and then I'll explain what I've seen. So there we have it. Would anyone like to take a guess? What you're looking at is in fact just here. So I would say that that is a female T Sturmy, and I am so relieved if it is, because I've had this one since not long after leaving the egg sac. It was a dinky little sling. Well, they're never dinky in the Theraphosa, but it was at the smallest stage to be able to sell. Now I've never actually sexed a Sturmy before. What I think I saw would indicate female, but I'm not 100%. So if I am wrong, I do apologise, and comment me below if you've noticed something I haven't. But you do self-doubt yourself, don't you? When there's something you're really hoping for and you look into it and you're thinking, is that really there? Is that really there, or am I seeing things? But anyway, who knows? Let me know if you think I am wrong about her sex. She's still quite small for a Sturmy, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see. And there is one more update that I forgot to give you, and it's the one I was most excited to talk about, and it just flew past my head. So final update for you guys before this is over. Does anyone remember my P. gigas, one of the first tarantulas I ever owned here at Bug Realms? It hooked out unfortunately a few months ago, I think December maybe November, I think December, and I was absolutely gutted about it because I loved that T and I couldn't find a female anywhere. I contacted Lee from the Spies shop. At the time he didn't have any. None of my friends had a mature female Pseudoclomorus gigas. And then I contacted tarantulas online who did in fact have a female. So I dropped him off to them at Seas. Here's a little picture they put on their Facebook of him mating. and he has successfully had a good sack. So they sent me this photo here last week, I think it was, just to show me that there are now slings. Now, I haven't asked for a full 50-50 off them or anything like that. I just said I wanted a few of his offspring to carry on his legacy. There's no better feeling than knowing your very first tarantula that meant so much to you has a continued legacy. I am absolutely over the moon by this. Thank you so much, Tarantulas Online, for your hard work in breeding him. And they did say that they normally only really get about 50% of good sacks from the P. gigas. So the fact that he provided them a good one, it just makes me feel amazing. So if you want to see what else dwells within the realm, make sure to pop back weekly for multiple videos. I know it's been a long one, guys. If you've watched it to the very end, let me know in the comments below so that I can thank you personally. And yeah, look forward to future videos. Again, remember, if there's anything I've missed out to do with updates about past projects, present projects, future projects that you need to know about, let me know in the comments below, because I don't want there to be any more confusion from my subscribers. Thanks again, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.